Hello and welcome to the Peak Endurance Podcast once again. I am your host, or one of your hosts, Ron Tate, and with me is
Isabel Tate, and
yes,
sitting here freezing my ass off, as you can tell
yes,
by my puffy. I've
and
got
I
my electric blanket. Oh my God. And
sitting
he's
here in shorts and t-shirt.
because he just ran
I
home
literally
from the gym.
just got in the door from running home from the
Yes,
gym,
yeah.
so I'm still a little bit warm
You'll start freezing halfway through.
Yeah, so if I disappear, I'm just going to go and get a jumper.
Yes. So, updates on the state of play. Oh my God. Right. You know how I told, well, I've been humbled. It's very embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. How Ron was sick.
Isabel would have been eating some humble pie, except for the fact that she couldn't actually eat anything.
Yes. I was far too fucking cocky for my own good. I don't get sick. I'm fucking invincible.
And was
oh
it
my
the
God.
very
Then
next
the very next that night in bed, I'm like, oh, I feel really sick. But in saying that, I don't vomit.
No, you didn't quite have the same symptoms.
I didn't have quite, I got really bad nausea and I could not eat. I'd finally ate the Thursday night one tiny piece of toast, and that nearly made me want to bath. But then I got fevers on the Thursday night. So Wednesday night during the night, I started to feel very nauseous. And then Thursday night during the night, I had fevers on and off. I'd be boiling hot, freezing cold, boiling hot, So Thursday, I spent most of the day in bed, except I had a few client calls and that sort of things. So I'd go to bed, set the alarm, get up, pretend, put on my happy face. And I did try to do some work, and it was just ridiculous. The problem is when you own your own business, you don't get sick leave.
No.
Nobody does your work for you. You don't get paid if you don't work. Things grind to a halt. So I kind of had to work, but it was pretty crap work. Well, not crap. I was only doing, batching social media posting. So while I would upload, I'd put my head on the table and have a rest.
I was going to say, I did come home and Isabel was sitting at the table with her head resting on the table.
Yes. It was, and then I'd get the next post ready and then, put my head down. And I tell you, each post took me 10 times longer than it normally did. But anyway, and then by Friday, I was feeling a modicum better, but still couldn't really eat. And then we, like idiots, we'd originally planned to do 30K Saturday. I said, let's just do 20, 20. Make it easy. I'll be fine. Neither of us have
been well, so we'll just cut it
down. We'll just do an easy 20. We got one cat the road. I'm like, oh, far out. I feel bad. And not sick, just exhausted because I'd been eating hardly any food. I'd had fevers 2 nights before. And, because I was by that stage, I was still a bit nauseous, but only if I ate. So,
that's right. So you had no energy at all, just.
And so we did 15K because we were kind of, I kept going, no, I'll be right. And I felt guilty because Ron, Ron wanted to run. And then the next day we did 9K, and that's when we ran to Macca's. So if you see that video of us talking about upping the ante and seeing us eating Macca's, we both were just getting over gastro then. Right. And I was, not as good as Ron. Ron was a day bit better than me. So it was.
We still weren't fair on 100%.
No, it was,
but that's the sort of thing that we're willing to do.
That's right. That's the sacrifices we make for the good of the channel.
Yeah.
So so that was that. And by Monday, my easy run still felt bad, but I did quality session today and I felt good, but I still can't really drink coffee. So, and even just saying the words coffee made my stomach turn then. So
I am back to my full coffee drinking potential.
But I've been going off coffee for the last year or so. It's like when I gave up smoking, I didn't give it up. It gave me up, suddenly I could not smoke anymore because it would make me so ill. And coffee's kind of going the same way. Alcohol has gone the same way for me. It gives me terrible stomach pain. That's what smoking did, was it gave me terrible stomach pain. Alcohol does now. Coffee does now. It's like, far out. I can't eat sugary stuff. Like, God, it's so not fair.
Yeah, what's the next vice?
I don't know. I'll have to.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to start looking at some more dangerous ones for you to. I don't know. Is the danger what will keep you,
maybe
head in the game?
Yeah, I don't know. But I tell you what, It's looking pretty grim, especially if I can't have coffee. So yeah. So anyway, I
Yeah,
managed to force some down.
yeah, so we're almost back to our good selves. There's just it's just the nausea has lingered for some
Yeah,
reason.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm fine now, but even yesterday after eating, I just wasn't feeling right.
Each time after I eat, and I can't
Yeah.
drink my hot chocolates of an evening. Like even last night when I was supposedly okay, I couldn't have my hot chocolate. Just the thought of it made me want to bath. Sunday night, Ron sat next to me eating a bowl of ice cream, and I was like, two bowls of ice cream.
Because we have the bowls of ice cream.
Yes.
Isabel wasn't going to eat her part, so I had to do it.
I literally, I didn't even get, like, he just refilled his bowl twice. So I didn't have a bowl because I knew, I said, there's no way, because it's at the moment, it's sweet stuff that's making me want to bath. As soon as I can eat savory stuff, generally okay. Sweet stuff, oh. And I'm like, I didn't even, I was watching him eat it. I'm like, no, not interested.
But Sunday treat night is Sunday treat night. So.
Yeah, and I look forward to Sunday treat night. You have no idea. Normally,
yeah.
But no, didn't want a bar of it. It was like, nah. So yeah, things are a bit sad for me at the moment, especially because I was so goddamn cocky. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, have a listen and listen to me and just think, what an idiot.
You could almost hear you know,
God laughing
and going, okay,
let's show this lady.
Hold my beer.
Oh, that's what I get. It's like when you say, I haven't been injured in 3 years.
Right.
The very next day you've got a broken leg. Oh my God, such a moron. To be fair, I don't normally get sick. I honestly, you are the one that gets sick in this relationship, and I don't normally.
Yeah.
But far right, like seriously. Yeah. Anyway,
like I said, that's our winter illness done.
Yeah, well, I don't consider gastro a winter illness.
Well, I don't get sick in the summer. I only get sick when the weather turns cold.
I'm pretty sure that when the last time you had vomiting and all this, it was December. Yes, pregnant pause there. That was interesting listening. Remember after Costa Cosi?
Yeah, but that was not normal. That was.
Was that alcohol
poisoning? No, it was food poisoning, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, you know, like a cold or something like that.
Well, this wasn't a cold.
But it's still an illness. It still counts. I'm not going to get another one.
Okay. Let's see if your cockiness.
That was more desperation than cockiness.
I think so. So yeah, not much of an update because we've been just
we haven't actually, both of us have had fairly short weeks as far as running goes.
Yeah. If you look back at our Strava,
you had the first 2 day.
I had 2
days off in a row.
Yeah, for a long time.
For a long time.
Yeah, since getting over that surgery and all that.
So
so because I don't, or doing something, I don't normally take 2 days off in a row.
No.
And that's another reason why Saturday's run felt shit, because my body always hurts so much more when I haven't run. Like everything hurts. My ankles was hurting so bad, and this was hurting, and that was hurting. It was just horrible.
But you suffered in silence.
I did, as is my want to suffer in silence, because I'd hate to inflict my whinging on you. All I could say to Ron was thank God this sickness didn't happen this week, because we've got the Wandy Cross this Saturday.
We're off to Bright or
Wollongong to our favourite Airbnb.
Yeah.
We just love it.
We love this one. We were there for Wandy Cross.
This will be our third time staying there now.
Yeah.
Each time we do Wandy Cross, we stay there.
Yeah, and it's a lovely little place. It's on the course. It's
on the course.
It's
we have to run past it on the
we do.
about a K of the start. Oh, not even a K.
Not even a K. Once you cross the main Wandy Road, it's literally right there. So it's probably about 500 meters from the start. As you're climbing that first pinchy hill. But it's such a nice, quiet,
it's so nice,
neat little place.
And
we love
so cozy and
it's
comfortable, and it's I don't know what it is. There's just something about it, and I love it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not the cheapest Airbnb, but it's not the most expensive either.
No, but it has a separate bedroom, which always makes those things a little bit more expensive. But that's part of the charm as well. You know, it's got a separate lounge and
It's got,
Yeah,
just got a
from
nice
around
living area. I don't know. I just
Hmm.
really like it.
Yeah.
So we're staying there. And so we're going to do the 27K, obviously, on the
Yep.
Saturday. And then we were thinking we'd do the 20K from the Buffalo Stampede
Yep.
on the Sunday, the one that we swept, because we wanted to run it in our own time.
Yes, that's right.
Because also, you know, I'm training for a multi-day in not till August, but you know, this is a good opportunity to get 2 days of heaps of vert in.
Yep.
And then we'll just do something easy cruisy on the Sunday.
No, that is
on the Monday.
Monday, yep, before we leave. Yeah.
Yeah, if we feel like it.
Yeah.
You know, out to the bike path or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but I'm just really looking forward to that. But just so glad we didn't get sick this week, because the way I felt on Saturday, that race would have been terrible. I wouldn't have been able to finish it.
No,
to be honest,
right.
I probably wouldn't have even started.
Yeah.
Because well, I would have started because I'm an idiot, but
that's sort of race. There's, you know, the first two climbs, once you start, you have to complete
committed.
them, because there's, you know, it goes out into no man's land. So
yeah, it's not an easy run back.
no.
So yeah.
So not until you finish the second climb or second descent back into Wandy, you know, where you could actually pull out. But so if you're there, say hello. Come and
Yes,
stop.
please say hello. You know,
We love talking to people who listen to the podcast.
yes, and then we'll, you know, give you a shout out or something. And if you're listening and you haven't followed us on YouTube, even if you don't watch YouTube, just please go and follow us on YouTube. We're on 277 subscribers, and we want to get to 300. And I go to Canada on the 29th of July.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time, folks.
No,
and we've still got 23 people.
That's right. We don't want to have to do
it via Zoom.
The Macca's run via Zoom, and you know, I don't know if
I think the Macca's are a lot further apart. I was going
to say, I don't know if Calgary has enough.
Calgary is very spread out. I'll just have to run back and forth to the one Macca's.
We'll pick two that are 5Ks apart, and you'll just do laps.
I don't know. It's so spread out. And so, you know, do yourself a favor and follow us on YouTube, because we are going to start making more videos sort of our runs and all that sort of stuff, and try to make it a bit more, not just the pod, but some other things as well. And you know, doing funny runs like the Macca's run, because the next one we want to do, if we get to 400, which we'll probably be 80 by then. Will be the beer run.
Beer marathon.
Yeah, the beer marathon. So, you know, come on and subscribe, and don't just subscribe, but share it on socials. Get other people to subscribe. Get your friends, get your kids, get your mum, your dad, your dog. We don't care. We're not fussy.
No, we're happy to have someone bark at us.
Yes. So anyway, today's podcast.
Yes, what are we talking about today?
Well, I wanted to discuss the rising popularity of ultra marathoning.
Yes.
And did you know this is data from 2020, which is only 4 years ago?
Yep.
So we'll run with it.
Yep.
Admittedly, 4 years is a long time, but whatever. A new statistical analysis shows that participation in long distance races, and they're talking ultra marathons, has increased 1,696%, if that's even possible, over the last 25 years. Isn't that amazing?
That's a lot.
Yep. So while ultra marathon races are run only by a small number of experienced runners, generally in the 90s, they are now attracting a wide number of runners from all levels. In 1996, and this is worldwide, there were 34,401 participants in events over a distance greater than a marathon. Well, in 2018, that number was 611,098.
So from 34,000 to 611.
That is huge.
Yep.
And while participation in 5-kilometer events has dropped since 2016, and participation in marathon events has stagnated, participation in ultra marathons is growing at an ever increasing rate. Now, here's the thing though, just like when marathon running grew, when the popularity of marathon running grew, so did the pace dropped, right? People got slower. Not people got slower, the average pace got slower, because with more participants, and it was attracting people who were not necessarily marathoners.
That's right. Once upon a time, if you were going to run a marathon,
you were like an elite athlete, you know?
Right.
No, you know, everybody and their dog enters them. So the average, and we're going to be talking miles here, and please don't expect me to do the conversion. an average of 11 minutes and 35 seconds per mile in 1996 to 13 minutes and 16 seconds per mile in 2018. Now, what I am not sure about this is what terrain are they talking about? Because, you know, also a lot tougher ultra marathons have come into play.
Yep.
So they're going to be naturally slower as well, pace wise.
Yeah.
So, you know, anyway, but the growing popularity of ultra marathons, especially in the shorter events, less than 50 miles, actually the average speed of runners increase. Okay. So on average, events of 100 kilometers and 100 miles have been run at a faster speed than events of 50 kilometers or 50 miles, which tells me it's sort of the newbies going into the 50Ks and 50 milers.
Yeah.
And the 100K and 100 miles are still attracting people who are potentially a bit faster, that maybe move through marathon, 50K, 50 mile. And, you know, a lot of these 50Ks and 50 mile beginner runners will, you know, not do so well or suffer. And, you know, by the time people get to 100K and 100 miles, they've generally ironed out the kinks a bit.
Yeah, they've done a bit more training and maybe employed a coach.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway.
So that's good. And also, you know, some of the benefits of this, you know, climb in participation also means more races.
Yes,
people,
absolutely.
You know, organisers are willing to put on more races. Now that's a win for, you know, the sport. It also, you know, not only is it a win, but it's also has some detracting consequences.
Yeah, in that athletes over race.
Yep.
When there's a race on every weekend, you know, you get FOMO and people over race.
That over race, and also they do things, or they progress quicker than they should.
Yes, and they actually had a statistic about progressions. Can I read you that?
Yeah.
The team that did this study also wanted to follow the evolution of the races over time. Their analysis shows that runners usually start with shorter ultra marathons, then gradually increase their running distance until their 15th race, which I find unusual, because certainly here in Australia, I find people go, their second race is the miler, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
And after which they usually return to shorter distances, which tells me they do all those long ones and then they're like, oh God, I'm just sick of the suffering, sick of being out there all night, all day. Anyway.
I mean, the way most people are is they look at the 100 milers with FOMO and go, oh wow, they must be hardcore. I'd really love to do that. And then they do it and they realize how hard it is.
Yeah.
And how painful it is.
Yes.
And once they've done it, they go, oh, I don't think I could go there again.
Or they do a few, but then even, you know, doing a few, I don't know, it's hard work.
Yeah.
The performance of ultramarathon runners also evolves over the races. Their average speed increases steadily until their 20th race and then stabilizes. But that's kind of the newbie effect, is that as you learn and get better and that sort of thing, as long as you stabilize and you're not dropping, then that's fine.
Particularly, you know, with ultras, there's a lot more that can affect a race time than just pace.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, weather. You know, how you're physically feeling going into
nutrition, mindset. You know, there's lots of things that actually, you know, can make you finish a race quicker than just running faster.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Whereas 100%. With marathons, that's it. You have to run fast.
So you can, well, there are stuff up your nutrition courses. As in not have enough, but and slow courses and, you know, headwinds on that. But ultra marathons definitely more. I mean, nutrition. I mean, you can stuff up nutrition in a marathon and kind of push through. Yeah.
You might not, you know, get your PB, but
and you might not love the process, but you know,
5Ks.
But you can push through.
But it's the final 5Ks, whereas in an ultra marathon, if you muck it up, it's that's right.
Nothing says joy like trudging along and not eating for 10 hours straight.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I know I've been there, survived that. So, you know, I think it's brilliant that, you know, ultra marathoning is really increasing in popularity. And, you know, like I'm involved with AURA, which is now AUTRA, which is awesome for Australia that we have a designated body for ultra running, and now it's trail and road, which it always kind of should have been. because when I think of ultra marathons, I personally think of trails, where obviously AUTRA always kind of thought of roads,
Yeah.
you know, originally when it started, road and track. But no, you know, for me, AUTRA represents me better. So if you haven't looked into AUTRA or AURA or whatever, you know, have a look, join up. It is really good. It's just a great resource. And I think really important for us to embrace it and to encourage ultra running and sort of a unified professional body that oversees us.
That's right.
Because Athletics Australia is, you know, they're road and they're short distances.
That's right.
Short marathons.
When you look at the amount of people, you know, athletes, runners, ultra running is by far one of the smaller ones.
Yes.
So therefore it doesn't attract the attention of Athletics Australia in the way that we would want it to, because it's our sport.
That's right.
Whereas to have a body that is dedicated to ultra running is very important.
Yeah.
It's run by runners.
Yeah, that's right. Like I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid for it.
Yeah,
and, you know, I'm always doing meetings
Yeah.
and doing work and doing this and like I'm, you know, and I don't get paid for it.
That's right. So it's, you know, it's run by runners for runners. It's not a money-making scheme, and it's not, you know, they're not the people running it aren't getting rich.
No.
So you know that they're out there looking out for the runners.
Yes, exactly.
themselves. So
I just wanted to add that in because there's been a lot of hoo-ha and controversy. Controversy. What the hell happened with that?
I don't know.
Over AUTRA at the moment, and it's really disgraceful the way some people are behaving and defaming certain members of AUTRA, and basically that's what it is, defaming. You don't go saying that sort of stuff on social media. When I see for myself how bloody hard they work, like so hard.
And they can't make everyone happy.
No,
There's too many different, you know.
Yes, opinions and thoughts and feelings. And that's okay. People can have their opinions, thoughts and feelings, but maybe, you know, don't blast it all over social media. Actually behave like an adult and talk to the people involved if you are unhappy with something. Like sit down and, well, which they have done. But anyway.
But also try and understand where decisions are coming from, you know. Yes, you know, AUTRA are an Australian body, but a lot of directives, particularly with a body that is dealing with international, other international bodies, a lot of that stuff is driven from overseas, and we have to try and make
enforce
it
fit.
Make it fit within an Australian running body, using rules that have been dictated by others.
Yeah, and for Australian races and all that sort of stuff.
That's right. So we can
like
go
shooting the messenger.
Yeah, it's like we can go, oh, we're not doing that, but then we don't get to compete in international events. So we have to kind of go, all right, so how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
You know, this is what we have to do. How do we do it?
Yeah.
And people just need to understand that, you know, they're not sitting around going, right, we're going to make this as hard as possible for all the runners.
Yeah, like why would they do that? Like, we want to stop races. We want to cancel races. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
You know, like honestly. So it's not some personal vendetta of or against races. It's actually enforcing the rules from you know,
quite often from international bodies.
Yeah, the overriding international bodies. Anyway, or did you have something else? No, enough of that. So, because I don't want it to get into a big debate about that.
No.
I volunteer for AUTRA, so obviously I am biased towards AUTRA, but with good reason. And I know all the people involved in this, and they are bloody good people, nice people, selfless people who would give anything and do for the benefit of the sport.
Yeah.
So all those bullies out there, lay off.
The other thing I just want to quickly touch on is the amount of races that are going on at the moment is, you know, I think is quite a good thing. It gives us a whole lot more choice for where we run now.
Choice.
It's very choice.
Choice is choice.
Sorry. The people,
that was my Kiwi accent in case you couldn't tell everybody.
The people like us, we don't like to do the big events so much. We like the smaller grassroots type events. But there is a place for those big events, you know, the UTAs, the, you know, UTMB.
UTK, Ultra.
The UTMB-based running events. Sure, there's been a whole lot of controversy about them buying up races and everything like that. But the fact that there's races there for them to buy means that it's still a choice for people, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
to
have to
run
do
it.
those
You don't have
races.
to do them if you don't want.
There's
But
so many races.
the fact that there's so many races for them to be able to be doing that,
yeah,
means that there's more choice for us.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, and ultimately, if you don't want to do those support UTMB, which I totally get,
Yep.
then don't do them.
Yeah.
It's that simple. There's so many other races.
There is
so many.
Yeah,
too many.
Once upon a time, you know,
when I started ultra running, I did, you know, well, it wasn't UTA, it was North Face 100, because that was literally the only 100K race. Or I didn't know of any others. I remember the first trail run I did was the running.The Dam. That was the only one I knew about. It was 30K, and I think there was a 50K, but it was the 30K. And that was like the only, and the other run was the Bogong to Hotham.
Yeah.
You know, they were the only two trail runs I knew of. And then and 6 foot track, because I'd always dreamed of doing 6 foot track, and then I went and did it and bloody won it. That was just that was like such a surreal period in my life. So, you know, but there used to be such a struggle finding races. I used to travel to Canberra quite a lot just to do races, because there was like nothing here in Victoria, like diddly squat. But no, my God, there are so many. And I mean, Trails Plus, awesome. They've got such a wide range of lots of races and all that sort of thing. But what you've got to learn to do is not get overly excited and enter every race you can.
That's right.
Because yes, for a few months, it'll be all right. But then it's going to come back and bite you on the ass with overtraining, burnout, injury, and just that burnout. I almost think burnout is worse than injury, because that's when you mentally don't want to run anymore, and that's when you end up giving up the sport. So you don't want to get yourself to that spot. You can get over an injury, but that burnout, that's hard to get over. And also, if you overtrain too much, you can burn out your adrenals and end up with chronic fatigue. And believe you me, I've had chronic fatigue. I had it for 20 years, and it was bloody hideous. Terrible, really negatively affected my life, completely changed the trajectory of my life. So honestly, look after yourselves. That's why I'm so banging on about always not overtraining and over racing, because I don't want to see people, and I didn't get it from running.
No, you had that before.
Yeah, like I didn't do any exercise when I got I
think it was probably more your nightlife.
No, it was the glandular fever. I was only 16 when I when I got glandular fever. Yeah, well, true. To be fair, it was a different era. We could just do whatever the hell we wanted back then, and I did. But all the same, ended up with chronic fatigue, and you can get that. I've heard of athletes getting it from overtraining, and it is an incredibly unpleasant experience. And for me, it lasted 20 years. So you don't want that.
No. Some races do come and go, but most races will be there next year.
There next year.
So, you know, just
train properly for it, and
two races you really want to do, but they happen to be 2 weeks apart.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, do one this year, do the other one next year.
Yep, it'll be there, and you'll enjoy it way more if you're not dragging yourself around going, oh, I'm stuffed.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, that's right. And you know, so many races, so many races, so much time. It's not so little time. There's so much time.
And you have to, okay, now hear me out on this one as well. Like if you're thinking, oh, but I'm getting older and whatever. Well, firstly, you know, whatever. There is also the more surprising, oh, no, hang on. In the marathon, no, hang on a second. No, that's not what I wanted. No, but that's the marathon. Okay, no, I thought there was something about age. The average speed of all age groups has decreased to converge. No.
Yeah, is that one there?
No, that was no. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what my point was. But ultimately, with ultra marathoning, you can run and do well until in your 50s.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was 48, something like that, when I did my first 100.
Okay.
So 40, late 40s.
You were not.
What was it? 20.
Your first 100.
My first 100 was in 2017.
Well, you weren't 48. You're only 59. Was that 2 years ago?
I'm 51.
What else? Was it 3 years ago?
It was 5 years ago.
2017 is 7 years ago.
Okay, so I was 45.
Okay.
45.
Because I'm pretty sure you were 48 when we met.
No, I was
so,
sorry. I was 45 when I did my first 100.
Okay, maths genius here. So anyway.
So, but still, you know,
still, yes.
Well into my.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't start
older.
running until I was 35, 36. Basically, when I got over chronic fatigue, I started running. And I did UTA in 2012. So I was 42 when I did my first 100. So, and, you know, and I came 7th, you know, and then 6 months later I did go and came 2nd. So, I mean, yeah, you know,
it's not
necessarily a young person sport.
No, that's right.
Because the young people actually make dumb decisions.
Yeah.
As this guy said, it takes until the 20th race.
Yeah.
To get, you know, before your pace stabilizes off, you keep getting faster because you're learning so much. So we've had a lot of, you know, older people have had a lot of experience. So you've got all that experience helping you do better at races than younger people who blast off like they're at park run and then die on their ass. Yeah. So, you know, even if you're older, there's plenty of time. Yep. You know, and just, you know, it's better to look after your body than to accrue medals. Yeah, that's right. We're at the point now, we don't even want the medals when they give them to us. We're like, what are we going to do with this? We just end up throwing it away because like I ended up throwing all my medals away. I kind of regret it a little bit, but because it would have been interesting to look at. But seriously, it weighed so much, and it was weighing me down mentally. Yeah, you know, like you don't need all that. No, I don't have any of my medals from my past running. Yeah, I don't keep them because the medal doesn't really mean that much to me. Like I remember the race, I remember running it. I don't need the medal to remind me. No. So I like to get photos, but I'm not fussed about medals. Yeah. So but the point is, like, you know, just think about your health. Yeah. And sure, for 6 months you might be able to race every other weekend, but there will come a point where it will be too much because you may think you're superhuman, but ultimately you are just a human being like the rest of us. And nobody is superhuman except the $6 million man. Yes. Perhaps. And Superman, of course. Yeah, of course. Yes. But, you know, and if you're old, you'll like us, you'll get the $6 million man reference. That's right. And Bionic Woman. If you're not, $6 million look them up, Google them. Yep. I actually saw a photo of them. I've showed you. Come up on socials and they're looking old. They are. The $6 million man's probably looking about 2 mil. So he's, I think he's dropped in value. Yes, just a bit. And we were going to sort of talk about training for an ultra is different than a marathon, but I think we're running out of time because we've got to go cook dinner and Ron's got to have a shower. Woo, lucky it's not smell-o-vision. No, it was a cold. Ron smells like roses. It was a cold night. I didn't do a lot of sweating tonight. No. So it was pretty much almost dark by the time I got home. Yes, so it was getting late. Because we went to the gym first, people. Yeah. So that's why. Yeah. He's running so late. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So that was just a little bit about, you know, ultra running and the state of ultra running. Running and you know, you're not alone in your love of this sport. There are many of us, although it seems like a niche sport, it is growing and it is growing at a huge rate. So look at us riding the wave of popularity. We're becoming cool finally. We're not the weirdo ultra runners. I remember when I first started running, I thought, oh, ultra runners, they're a little bit odd. Yeah. Now I am when I've realized we're not hot at all. No. We're perfectly normal. Even at work now, I'm not getting those odd comments of, oh, I wouldn't even drive that. Really? Or have they just cracked that joke so many times? Yeah, they're just used to, you know, me doing stupid distances. But you know, it's not such an obscure sport anymore. It's kind of hitting mainstream. Yeah. You know, things like the Barkley marathons and Courtney to Ultra and all that sort of stuff has helped. Yeah. Yeah, so enjoy this sport that we have, love it, and get your friends involved and then get them to follow us on YouTube. Yeah. It's always coming back to that. Because who doesn't want to see me bath with double cheeseburgers after the 7th one? It was actually quite tasty, and I
know.
was thinking we kind of maybe need to put it into the ultra food rotation list.
Yeah, it was
because
quite.
It was less dry than the bacon and egg McMuffin.
It was quite tasty, and I was sitting there eating it, thinking, I could really go another 8 of these.
Seven.
Seven. Sorry, I could go another 7 of
Yes,
these.
yes. So it's going to be fun and games. So we'll have to do a 60K run the next day just to burn off the calories.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And can I say $6.10 for that pissy little double cheeseburger? This is going to cost me a fortune because it's going to cost me $48 for, well, a bit more, $49-ish for 8 cheeseburgers for double cheeseburgers for you. And if I go the single, and the reason I'm going the single is because I'm a smaller body.
Yep.
And as a female, and I'm all about equality, but at the end of the day, you look at the calories we burn in a run, and he's always more. It's a smaller body, and it's anyway. So even they are $5. So it's going to cost me $100 in burgers.
That's right.
In shit, crap.
I was going to say,
rubbish burgers.
Let's face it, they're not a hamburger with the lot from the local fish and chip shop.
Oh, well, they're not mums.
No, they're not mums burgers.
Oh, you got to try Mums and Bronia, people. $100 on burgers. So if you want to see me waste a bloody fortune on crap food, follow us on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Follow us on YouTube and make us spend money on
make me support the McDonald's empire. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, and it's time to end this.
Yes,
all right.
yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Over. Go and have your shower.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you see us at Wandy Cross, come and say hello.
Do say hello. Can't wait to see you there on the trails. And if you see us somewhere else on the trails, say hello.
That's right.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.